All right, and as you can see, the smoke is really bellowing out of there. Looks good. All right, I'm gonna get a little piece of this smoked salmon roe. Welcome back to Good Living Alaska. So we delayed our salmon smoking because we wanted to go do a couple camping trips too, and we were able to catch more fish, like for example, me catching fish after work. But I actually found this World War II field stove that was being dumped. All right, well, I may have done some dumpster diving. All right, this thing is heavy. Ooh. Well, it demolished the sled. Oh well. We got another sled. We'll be all right. All right, let's show you what we got here. So this is the World War II field stove, and that there is an attachment that the person was dumping, changed it up. So now this was already a smoker, and the idea here that they were doing was they were building a fire right at the bottom of this pit here. As you can see, it has kind of burned a hole in it, so it's kind of not useful for having a fire in there anymore. And then they also had a fire over here on this side. If you open this up here, you can see here where they had stacked their salmon. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a hot tent stove, and I'm going to put that underneath and put the vent right through that hole that's already been made by rust. And then this way, all of the smoke can come straight up into it and flow up into the filled oven, and that's going to help smoke my salmon. Now, just in case you're worried about rust and such, when you're smoking salmon, you leave the skin at the bottom, and the skin at the bottom is what protects the meat from getting any kind of elements while you're smoking. And that is why I leave the skin on my salmon whenever I go to smoke it. Plus, a lot of times when you are pulling off the meat, sometimes that skin will get stuck to the grates, even on a conventional pellet grill, kind of like what I used to smoke last year. Even those will kind of get stuck. And so it's nice that you can actually just scrape off the meat, pull the skin off with your hand, and then the skin will end up going to like the chickens or the pigs, and they absolutely love it. But that smoked meat is what we are after, because we want to have it for salmon chowder and salmon dip. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and get that stove, see if I can fit it through there just fine. I'm pretty sure it'll just pop right through since that little section is rusted out. But the rest of it, if I move this grate here, the rest of it is actually pretty hardy. It's just right here in this section where it's kind of rusted out a little bit, and I could just pop some of it through there, and I am going to put that wood pipe stove through there. Now I thought this would be a good idea because the stove is going to provide the heat and the smoking temperature in order to get my salmon dry and smoked. Now I also have two pellet smoking tools that I bought in the past to cold smoke cheese when I used to live in Wisconsin. I've always liked smoking. I used to smoke cheese and game meat back then, and now I'm smoking a lot of salmon because we just love meat in this family, and I particularly love meat because I know that it has complete nutrition value to it. So what I'm going to do is go show you that real quick. All right, and this is the product that I was talking about here. Basically, the idea is you fill this up with pellets. This part is closed, and this is open. You can lay it on its side here just like that. You light the end of it here, and it burns kind of like essence would, and it releases smoke over several hours. That is for pellets only. You could probably do some wood chips in there too if you really wanted to, but you wouldn't be able to fit as many, and so the burn time wouldn't be as long. I think if you fill it up completely, I think it's like 3 to 4 hours of burn time using pellets. Now, pellets, I'm not against pellets at all because I have a pellet grill myself, and I actually love the flavor that they make. I usually buy the pellets from Walmart. It's the mix blend. I love mesquite. I'm from Texas, so mesquite's a wonderful flavor, but I think they have mesquite and applewood and just a bunch of different woods all blended together. And I think it's fantastic. I think it creates a wonderful smoke. Every time family comes over and I smoke some salmon for them, they think it's fantastic. I mean, it is a wonderful flavor. And so that's what we're going to do is we are going to use pellets in that. And then in the bottom, after I get the small tent oven hot, I'll put some pellets in there as well to keep it going, alongside of wood as well to keep everything kind of hot and rolling. and smoking for about 4 to 5 hours. But if I can, I'll try to go about 6 hours. It just depends on what time, you know, the babies need me and everything. Either way though, it's going to create a wonderful smoke, and I'll be able to freeze that. I'll have long-term, easy to grab smoked salmon ready to go and ready to eat for our camping trips and throughout the winter. All right, so here's an old wood grate here, and this is actually where I'm probably gonna put that right there, and then this way I can light it and it'll sit up on top of that and smoke out everything. The main smoke will be coming through here, through this hole, through the chimney, and there's where the second dose of it will be, so that way I can get plenty of smoke build up. All right, well, there we go. There's the setup. We have it poking through, and as you can see, it doesn't allow it to come straight through the top. It seeps out everything around the edges. And so that's why I wanted to use this particular stovepipe. And it comes all the way down here. I think it looks pretty good. All right, my goal now is I'm gonna go ahead and get a fire going in here. We're gonna test the smoke, make sure it flows properly. Just like we want it to. I imagine there should be no issues at all, but I just want to test it just to make sure. All right, well, luckily I have some trees right behind here that I'm gonna cut. This one right there is actually dead, so I'm gonna get that down real quick. All right. Definitely a tiny little stove. And there you go. It's doing some smoking. Let's go ahead and shut it real quick. All right, well, I'm gonna say that that is working just fine. The smoke is coming out exactly where we want it to. And we have a little bit of seepage coming out here, but it's not, I mean, it's just very minimum. Very minimum. So that's perfect. You can see like a little bit of smoke popping out right there, just like little seams of it, just every once in a while, a little gasp. And you see it's just barely coming out right there. But the rest of it is all coming out through the top. That looks fantastic. Honestly, that was a really, really cool find. I'm super happy I found that. I've gotten lucky twice this year at the dump. Once with this, and I had help putting it in. And the other time is I got a new little rolling chicken coop cart. It's for chicks. Basically, it was an old snake pin, and it was very long. It's like 6 foot by 3 foot, and it rolls. It's going to be perfect for baby chicks in the new chicken house. So I'm actually really excited about this find. It's exactly what I was looking for doing a smoker, so I can have a lot more room to do a lot more fish all at once, and also to do some salmon roe as well. I'd like to smoke some of that too, so that way I can add some of that to the fish soups as well. But yeah, that looks fantastic. The smoke profile on that is perfect. And this is just testing out the stove. I haven't even put in the pellets yet, and I think that's gonna work out really, really well. All right, so that brings me to the next step, and the next step is we gotta cut up fish. A lot of fish. It's gonna take me a while to do that. And I cut up the fish and brine it. And after we brine it, that's when we're gonna start smoking the fish. I also got a couple buckets here too. There's one underneath. The bucket underneath is going to be for the fish eggs, because I'm going to save those, some of them for bait and some of them just giving them straight to the chickens, because those are very, very nutrient dense for them. And then this is my extras, and this here is my brine. Now in my brine, I did a mixture of pink Himalayan salt. So I did 2 cups of that and 2 cups of sugar, and that makes a really good brine. And we're going to brine our fish as we're filleting them. As you can see here, these fish definitely have some size differences to them. Very often whenever I'm netting, I won't even keep some of them that are this small, but it was really late at night and I was in a hurry. All right, so I'm gonna show you this one real quick. So I always cut the top fin off, and I cut the bottom fin off. I will start with the head facing towards me and slice down. And I'm aiming downwards, and then once I hit the spine, I turn my blade inwards. And I notice a lot of people have a hard time doing this. So you just turn it in and then you start sawing back and forth to get started towards the spine. Again, I'm at a little bit of an angle here. So the angle is kind of like this. And then I just start going across. And usually the fillets turn out pretty good. And you can see here the spine that I laid the blade across is, I was directly on that spine the entire time. And I do the same thing the other direction. All right, there you go. And that's basically all that's left. I could take a spoon and scrape all this up and to make burgers, but I mean, this is plenty of meat. And since I have 65 fish, I don't need all that, but I do have animals to feed, so I can feed this to the animals. All right, and very quickly here, I wanted to show you too, I like to fillet the ribs off. The way I do it is I'll follow the bones here, just with the tip of the blade, and follow down, but I'm angling my blade upwards towards the ribs, very much like this. And just slowly cut down into it. And you can actually see my blade inside of the ribs because you're cutting that close. And then once I get it about 3/4 of the way, I'll take it and I'll just pull the rest off. And then from there, if you want to trim off some of this extra stuff, you can. A lot of salmon fillets, they'll just cut this entire belly section right off here. They'll cut it right through here, and then this would get tossed out, but I like to have this because I like to eat this individually and also whenever I smoke it. All right, and there are 2 beautiful fillets of salmon. They are absolutely gorgeous red. See that dark, dark red? And that red pigment is actually what makes salmon extremely nutritious. And that pigment is called astaxanthin. And that is a very powerful super antioxidant, like superfood. It can go through the entire body and get rid of free radicals. And so I'm a big fan of eating salmon meat. All right, well, we got a lot of salmon to go through. I just wanted to show you real quick those. And from now on, we're gonna speed this up. And then I'll show you the end result of all of the fish and the fish head soup that we're gonna give to the chickens and pigs. All right, so when it comes to the fillets, what I'll typically do, if I'm freezing it, I'll cut it in half. Now, not to cut through the skin, but just to fold it. And then this can go very simply inside of a bag and you freeze it and it lasts a long time. But when I go ahead and brine this, I usually cut it in about 2 to 3 finger lengths, depending on the size of the salmon and thickness of it. This is a little bit not as thick as some of the bigger ones I got. So I'll just do like 2 and I'll just cut through and I'll leave the end piece alone. But this way, as you can see, it's folded. And in the brine, each individual piece is going to be more easily able to absorb the sugar and salt. And in the smoker, as it shrinks down, each piece will be able to get better smoke, basically. That's the idea behind this. And so I'm gonna go ahead and drop this in the bucket of brine that I had prepared, do the next one, and then fillet all these fish. All right, so we're actually allowed to have 10 flounder in our dip netting. Now, you don't catch them very often, but when you do, my thoughts were I usually always throw them back. Most people throw them back, but I thought, well, hey, this time I'm gonna try them out. I've heard flounder can actually be pretty decent. Wouldn't surprise me if it's a lot of times the fish that you get when you don't know what you're getting at restaurants, but usually that fish is not too bad. So the way you cut them is very similar to the way you cut a halibut, where you kind of mark both sides down the center and then you fillet it out from there. So what I'm gonna do is do that, and then I'm gonna feed the bottom portion of it to the pigs. There's obviously a couple fillets on here. Some of them are easier. The top ones I think are easier to get to than the bottom ones from what I've experienced in the past. But I'm gonna have them up and fry them up in the future, because why not? I mean, might as well give them a shot, and then the pigs can have the rest. I'll put it in with the rest of the salmon. So we're gonna go ahead and get this cut up. So from what I'm seeing, you just basically, you follow this line here. There's a line that comes across here, and you're following that line more or less. And you just kind of cut down to it, and it's the spine that you're following. And then from there, you very easily turn your knife towards, and you just start filleting. All right, well, obviously I didn't do a perfect job, and I didn't go after every little bit. I was just trying to do it quick. But you got a couple decent sized fillets here, a couple tender bites here. And really, that's really easy. You can easily like fry that up. The way I think I'm gonna do it is probably put like some Parmesan with egg batter, an egg battered Parmesan. There wouldn't be any flour for me. Pretty tasty from what I hear. Basically just kind of tastes kind of like whitefish, like any old whitefish would taste. And there's no bones when you do it that way. And so it should be pretty easy. Other than that, I got one more in there, and then I have a whole bunch of salmon still to cut up. But since our brine bucket is full, I'm gonna go ahead and take that inside and put some more brine on top and put it in the fridge. All right, so we got some more brining liquid that I created in here. All that there at the bottom, I guess, is all the different minerals and soot that comes from Himalayan sea salt. So I'm just gonna pour this to top this off here, because we want it to be completely covered. And then that way I can put it in the fridge, and I'll put it in here next to my other one that I've had brining for a little bit, that's ready to smoke here in a couple hours. All right, so we have a whole bunch of salmon roe here that we are gonna try to smoke as well. Now I'm gonna brine them real quick, and when you brine salmon roe, I've always been told that you wanna just brine it real quick, not very long at all, less than a minute. I have some leftover brine here. As you can see, it's quite full. We're going to start dropping our salmon roe in there. All right. All right. So I'm just going to stir them up real quick. And basically, just as quick as I got them in there, I'm also going to try to get them out here in just a second. I'm going to give it like a 30-second countdown. Let it absorb some of that salt and sugar. Now they're still in their protective casing, so that's going to protect them quite a bit, so they won't be as affected as much. But I want to get them as clean as possible and brined up, so that way when they smoke, they'll also have a really good flavor. You can see some of that pigment leaving them, which we don't want a whole lot leaving it, because that's what makes it good for you. All right, I'm going to quickly get these out now, and I'm dropping them into just some clean water. And this is just going to help take the salt right back out, leaving some in there, but a lot of it's going to be out of it. You can see how quickly that turned milky like that. All that salt leaving there real quick. Very interesting. All right, so we got to do the same process, which means we're just going to put our fish in some fresh water because they've been soaking up that goodness. And this will kind of even out all that salt and sugar. Take a little bit of out of there because you don't want it to be too salty. All right, so we let that brine go for about 24 hours. And now that it's in the fresh water, we're gonna let that sit for about an hour. It'll help even out the salt. So to pull some of that salt back out of there so it's not extremely salty, and a little bit of that sugar as well. And then from there, we're gonna be able to dry it on the smoking racks and start the smoking process. Like I said before, when I was building the smoker, I usually let that go for about 6 to 8 hours, just depending on how much time I have. Sometimes I'll even put on the last smoke right before I go to bed and let it kind of dry out there out at night. And so it'll dry up just nicely. I shouldn't have any issues with bears. If I do, well, I guess I'll have issues with bears. But especially with that big, heavy smoker now, I know a bear wouldn't have a problem with it, but it might be more of a nuisance. Either way, we're gonna be just fine. We have a lot of fish to smoke, and we're gonna have a lot of smoked fish. All right. We're gonna get this going, huh? Let's go get this filled up, huh? Go put pellets in it.
What?
We're gonna go put pellets in it.
Mom, don't burn yourself.
No, burn myself. All right, so we're gonna fill this up with pellets. You see that? Put pellets in there. You wanna help me? It's just wood.
Oh, just what?
Yep. It's clean. All right, so you can see here. So this is basically it. I'm gonna light it up here at the top. It's gonna burn kind of like an essence candle and just slowly burn all the way down, and it'll keep a nice smoke going for about 3 to 4 hours. So we're gonna go ahead and get all the fish on there, put this in there, and get ready to light it with the torch that Harrison got for me. Thank you, bub.
First.
What's that?
It's a fish in first.
Yeah, we gotta get the fish in first. You wanna come look at this?
Yeah.
So this is what we found, remember? Wow, isn't that cool? Yeah, we're gonna put all the fish in there. You see that? Look at this, the fishy eggs. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, that's in there.
Yep, putting it right here.
Yeah, got that.
And cook it, yep, we're gonna smoke it.
Yeah.
Smoke it.
Hold it.
There we go, that's better. All right, well, there we go. Now, I avoided putting it right above because otherwise I think that's just going to cook it because it does get hot, really quite hot right there. So I don't want to put any fish right over the main spot. But other than that, I think we're going to get a good smoke going here. We got a row and we got 4 racks of salmon. I didn't realize how massive this is. I probably could have done a little bit more. I only did 1 full bucket of salmon. I probably could have done 2 buckets of salmon and then used this and the pellet grill and made a whole bunch of smoke all at once. But I'll be able to do that in the future, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this smoker going. Harrison's gonna help me get it started, huh?
Yeah. It's a tiny one.
Is it so tiny?
Yeah.
You can build a fire in there, see? Go ahead, get them baby sticks in there first. Good job. You put good sticks in there. Look at those. And we'll shut this.
I shut the part.
Yeah, well, we're gonna leave that open so it gets lots of air so we can start the fire. I think it's going good. You got enough sticks in there, huh? Yeah, look at all that smoke coming through, huh? That looks good. We don't want to forget this little part too. All right, and so that's gonna slowly wick down. And you can see here how it's releasing smoke like crazy now. And that'll help the smoke go, huh? A lot of good smoke coming through there. We're gonna shut this up. And the fire's going good. And so the way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna take pellets here to additional and we'll toss it in there. I'll let you do it, Bubba. You wanna go ahead? Okay, kind of like that. Yeah, you have to kind of get it closer. And what we're going to do is we'll come out here over time, put some more logs on, keep the heat going, make sure the smoke is going in every place that it's supposed to go. All right, you ready to get back inside for a little bit and go eat some dinner? Yeah. All right, and as you can see, the smoke is really bellowing out of there, smoking all those fish. And that way the fish are getting a really good, powerful smoke there. All right, it's been smoking for a long time now. Smoking really well. I'm gonna go ahead and get... All right. And get some more pellets in there. All right, the freezer is empty and cleaned and ready to be filled. All right, so all in all, the amount of meat that we ended up getting off the entire batch of 65 fish turned out to be 3 5-gallon buckets. One of them is right here, 2 of which I've brined. And you can see it is just filled to the brim with sockeye salmon. All in all, you're talking around 200 pounds of sockeye salmon. It's good to have the fresh fillets frozen, and that way we can have fresh, delicious Alaska sockeye salmon for the rest of the year. So I'm going to get started here. All right, slice it in half, just like so. And there you go. That's the way I like to keep it. And I'll put it in the back here. And all right, there you go. Nice little package, ready to freeze. And you can see that beautiful red color, and that'll deep freeze and keep that way until basically you thaw it out. All right, there we are. Half full. All right, it's been smoking for a long time now. Smoking really well. I'm gonna go ahead and get some more pellets in there. All right, the salmon is looking really, really good, and you can see how that thing is smoking down the line, providing lots of good smoke. Yeah, they need some water?
Yeah.
Go ahead and turn it on.
There?
Yep.
Higher?
Yep. There you go. Yep, turn it more. Turn it all the way. Keep going.
Oh, wait.
That looks good. Man, look at your potatoes, man. Look at this. You got flowers.
What?
I know. You see that? You got flowers on your potatoes.
What? You do it.
Yeah, you did a good job planting your potatoes. Even the ones that are bought from the store are coming up. Kind of surprising, actually. They look good, huh? Look at that. Your onion came up too.
What?
The silly onion over here. That was from the store. We threw it in the ground for fun. Yeah, I know. Look at it. Look at those onions. All right. Let's check it out. Oh, wow. Look at the smoke. That looks really good. They smell really good, huh? Does that smell really smoked?
Yeah.
Very strong smoke smell. Let's open up this. Oh, wow. Look at that. Talk about a strong smoke. That looks fantastic. The smoking really did bring a good color out. All right, let's get all of the smoked salmon out of there. All right, I'm gonna grab the rest of this salmon off of the rack here, and then we're gonna head inside and work on the salmon chowder. All right, so Mr. Bubbles here is about to leak out the top. I put a bunch in there. It's 2 cups and 2 cups, so I just wanted to go ahead and get it in here before it leaks out. All right, we're going to start some bread so we can have some wonderful sourdough bread. And I've already got our chicken boiling here, making our chicken broth for our salmon chowder. I like to have a chicken broth base. It makes it really good. Oh, yeah. How does that look, huh?
Yummy.
Yeah, there we go. Got the roll going. All right, and we'll put this in our little thing. Come on over here. All right, here we go. We'll let that rise and cook her up. All right, and in the spirit of liking bacon, I'm going to take bacon and that's what I'm going to line the pan with here. We're going to crisp it up a bit because I like the bacon that's in salmon chowder. It just gives it an extra flavor, an extra crispy taste to it. All right, so we have our chicken broth here. And I added some celery, carrots, and onion and parsley to it. And what I'm going to do is add the broth. This is just the leftovers, mostly bones. There's a little bit of meat on there, a little bit of dark meat on there, which I like to have for all the oils you can see floating there at the top. And it gives it a really good flavor. And so what I ended up doing was I added salt, pepper, and an apple cider vinegar, and to help break down like the bones and give it more of that bone broth and help break down the meat so I can get some of that meat flavor in there. And so we're going to pour this in our pan here, and that's going to be the base of our salmon chowder. So this is how you test to see if you did a good job. Well, as you can see, the bone breaks apart, and therefore we did a good job boiling it down. All right, so those vegetables and stuff, they're not going to go to waste. Either are the bones. The pigs will eat the bones. They love bones, especially the mashed up ones. In fact, I'm going to give this to the chickens first. Usually what I do is like I give all the house trimmings to the chickens, and then the leftovers I give to the pigs, because the chickens will pick out what they want, and then the pigs will tear up the rest of it. Now, obviously, I'm feeding the pigs every day. They're getting a lot of food. They're getting really big. In fact, they're getting so big, I'm wondering if I'm going to have to harvest them early. But that's a good thing, right? We want them to be fat and healthy. And we are going to have to harvest the ones that we want to harvest that we're not keeping for breeding before winter hits, because then they start using up all that fat to stay through the winter. It's just natural for them to do that, mainly in Alaska. It's very cold here. All right, so what we're going to do here is we are going to add dill and parsley. And I have some of that dried. Last year I dried a lot of our herbs too. And this year, since we're new to this area, we didn't have enough time to plant everything that we wanted to plant, with me working and Jillian growing a baby. All right, so since we let that boil for a little while, we're going to go ahead and add in the salmon. All right, we're also going to add in our cheese. I'm just going to use some white mozzarella. And this is going to help thicken it a little bit more. It is a lot of soup, so I did quite a bit. And last but not least, we're going to add in our heavy cream. All right, so while we're letting the chowder over there simmer and combine all those ingredients, we are going to go ahead and make our salmon dip. Now, this is one of Jillian's favorite ways of actually eating salmon. And you just take the smoked salmon, and I usually just take the skin. Again, I usually always take the skin off. I don't really know anybody who keeps the skin on. The only way that you could really use the skin in these dips is if you can it first. Whenever you do can salmon, it's good for preserving it for long term. But the negative is that all of that, like astaxanthin, that's the pigment, that is the extreme antioxidant that is found that causes all this red. And the salmon really gets destroyed, like a lot. Like we're talking like a lot of it gets destroyed. Versus the traditional way of smoking it and cooking it, that usually only destroys about like 15 to 30% of it. But whenever you use high temperature, which you have to when you can, which is like 100 minutes on high, and that ends up destroying a lot of that astaxanthin. I prefer to smoke it and then cook it on the grill, either using the pellet grill or the propane grill. Though I will say the biggest bonus to canning is you get rid of all the little bones, which is nice because that's time consuming. Because usually when I break this up, I'm in search for the little bones here and there. So the ingredients that we like to put in our salmon dip is I like to use a little bit of mustard, specifically Dijon mustard. So I put like a tablespoon of that in there, maybe a little more because I added a little extra fish. Usually I use about a full fillet, which is half of a fish. I think I added a fillet and a half here, maybe. A fillet in one of my chunks. Lemon, one of my favorite. And I put about 2 tablespoons of that. Salt to taste, whatever you like. We like a lot of salt. Black pepper to taste, of course. I like a lot of black pepper. I've had a lot of people comment and say that the amount of black pepper I like is kind of insane, but hey, I like the flavor. And dill, I like the dill, and we like a lot of dill. And then of course, I prefer homemade, but we do have this olive oil mayo, which is pretty good. And then another ingredient that we really, really like is honey, but I'm not going to use honey today in this. All right, and there we are. There is our salmon dip, super red. The beautiful color of that fresh salmon is wonderful. All right, I'm going to do a taste test too. Salmon dip right there. Yeah, okay, that's very good. I think I added just the right amount of lemon to that. And I like my Dijon mustard. If you like more mayo, you can always add that more to taste as well. As far as the mayo go, I think I added maybe half of a cup. You basically just mix it. If it all mixes together to where it kind of can stand up on a fork, then you're doing good. There is our salmon chowder, and it is to temperature. So we are going to turn that off and just let it calm down, cool down. You can see the beautiful color, the beautiful red in there. And I would definitely say you want to do your salt to taste. So I'm going to taste it real quick. I added some salt already, but sometimes I like to add more. Wow, that is fantastic. The thing about brining it too is when you're brining it like that with the sugar and the salt, a lot of that salt seeps in there and it stays in there to keep the fish nice and moist during the smoking process. I think it helps with the color retention as well. Jillian ran into town to take the kids to some gymnastics, so that way I could finish dinner. And now that dinner is ready, she should be back any minute. So we're gonna let her do a taste test for you, and then we'll have our dinner. All right, so while I'm waiting for Jillian to come home, I am going to go ahead and vacuum seal the rest of this salmon so we can have it in the future for our other adventures. All right, there we are. That's just one of probably 50 bags. So first one's done. Got a whole bunch more to go. And in case you're wondering, I got the rest of this. Plus, I was busy smoking. I got all that to do. And in the other fridge, I have all of this one to do. So this year we decided to smoke a lot of fish because we found out that was our favorite way of having fish was in dips. And I love chowders, especially with the winter coming up. We're going to want a lot of that salmon chowder because it is really, really good. We also like to do fillets on the grill. And usually I like to have those with the marinade that you've seen me use, like in our last camping video. It's been 40 minutes. And when we do the pan, we like to cook it at 375 for 40 minutes. Looks good. There's the second one. All right, and I like to add some honey butter to our bread, the top layer, because it adds an extra sweetness and it also keeps the bread moist. All right, well, we got the honey glaze on there. It's cooled off enough. We're gonna go ahead and get it cut open here. And look at that beautiful loaf. That turned out perfectly.
Yeah.
All right. All right, what do you think, huh? Looks pretty good.
That looks so good. I can smell it from here, and it's still warm. The steam's coming off. It looks so good.
Oh, let me get you some chowder too.
Ooh, yeah.
And I made some dip for us.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Nice. Let's do it.
Wow, that looks good, Bubba. What do you think? Does it look good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that. Isn't it chunky? Put lots of yummy chunks in there. Looks good. And we got a little garnish of our smoked salmon roe. Look at that. Fantastic. All right, there you go.
Oh, wow. That looks so good.
You got to give it a shot.
Yeah. Yeah, this looks so good. All right, here we go. Wow.
And it's chunky too. That's the nice part.
I like it chunky though. I like the chunks of salmon. Really good. It doesn't really taste fishy at all to me, which I personally like. And then just the overall flavoring of the chowder is just on point. So good.
Oh wait, give that back.
No,
Yes.
mine.
All right.
Oh, you have something else for me. Okay, well then you're forgiven
Yeah.
for taking my chowder.
So there's the salmon dip that you like. And
I do
made
like
it.
the salmon dip. That's on point too, man.
Yeah.
That is good. You want to make it even better though?
Hmm.
Some homemade bread
And some chips.
and some chips. But our bread, I'm going to go ahead and grab some sourdough bread. All right. And then last but not least is our sourdough bread here with butter and honey. Now I'm going to use this with the dip later, but I want to just try it by itself first.
Dessert, right? I told them that you were going to get to try everything before we sat down for dinner.
Yeah, I'm the taste tester, which, hello, Mom. So I get first taste. Yeah, the bread is so good.
All right, and then here is my plate here. All right. I'm going to get a little piece of this smoked salmon roe. Some bacon and some salmon. And there's my bite. All right. Man, that is fantastic. Such a good meal to have. It'll be really, really good too in the future when we make it in the winter. All right. Well, we want to say thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time on Good Living Alaska.
Bye.
Today and not tomorrow.